The 1970s and 1980s were some of the darkest years in California's history. A quiet, suburban life was shattered as a series of brutal crimes unfolded. The state was terrorized by a mysterious figure known by many names: the East Area Rapist, the original Night Stalker, and finally, the Golden State Killer. Little did people know that these names all pointed to one single, elusive man. During this time, the police and FBI found themselves dealing with a criminal whose methods were both chilling and calculated. He seemed to have detailed knowledge about his victims' lives, entering their homes undetected, terrifying them, and then leaving without a trace. This attacker wasn't just a typical predator, he was a terrifying monster. In his early attacks, the Golden State Killer targeted suburban homes across cities like Sacramento, Madera, and Orange County. His methods were disturbingly precise. He would break into homes late at night, subdue the residents, and then commit acts of unspeakable cruelty. In each case, he seemed to know exactly when and how to strike, leaving authorities baffled. The police tried relentlessly to catch him, but each lead would go nowhere. Just when it seemed they were closing in, the killer would reappear in another town. His movements and tactics left California gripped with terror, as no one knew where or when he would strike next. Over time, the Golden State Killer's brutality intensified. He went from being a terrifying intruder to becoming a violent killer. He began targeting couples, breaking into their homes and binding them. In a horrifying escalation, he would assault the women while forcing their partners to watch, and he often left both dead. His cruelty was unimaginable, spreading panic across California. He seemed to know how to control every detail of the scene. The killer's precision and ruthlessness suggested an intelligent but deeply disturbed mind, and it became clear that he was more than just a criminal, he was a calculated predator. In 1986, the killings mysteriously stopped. Despite their best efforts, the police had no trace of him, and his case went cold. For years, the people of California lived with the trauma of his crimes and the mystery surrounding his identity. He remained an unsolved, haunting presence, and one of the most notorious cold cases in American history. In the 2010s, advancements in genetic technology offered new hope for solving cold cases. In 2018, law enforcement matched DNA evidence from crime scenes with a close relative's genetic information in a public genealogy database. This led them to Joseph James DeAngelo, a former police officer who had managed to live a seemingly ordinary life for decades. Finally, Joseph DeAngelo, the man who had terrorized California, was arrested. In court, he admitted to his crimes, facing justice for the countless lives he had shattered. He was sentenced to life in prison, providing some relief to the survivors and the families of his victims. It marked the end of a terrifying chapter in American criminal history. And that, everyone, is the terrifying true story of the Golden State Killer, one of America's most notorious criminals. If you found this story chilling and want to hear more real-life mysteries, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. And if you have suggestions or cases you'd like to hear about, let me know in the comments. Stay tuned for more.